Hey guys, I'm making a quick little video to give my thoughts on some recent Dead by Daylight developer controversy, which I feel like there's developer controversy like every 5 minutes, but whatever. I can tell that it's been a while since I've made a video because I already forgot how my mic works. I've had to record this like 4 times now, so hopefully fourth time's the charm. But anyway, I just got back from vacation. I had a blast. I met Freddy Fazbear at Halloween Horror Nights. I was actually fangirling. Not an exaggeration. But while I was gone, Behavior managed to make everyone mad again, which I don't think anyone's surprised. They managed to make everyone mad like twice a day. I'm sure you've already heard, but recently the developers did a live stream in which they discussed the tunneling and slugging issues. And before we get into the bad parts, I want to come out and say that I actually do like the idea of the live stream format. I thought it was very nice to have the devs look at the camera head on and explain their thoughts behind the changes that they're making. It felt very genuine and transparent, and I would really like them to keep doing it in the future. That being said, in classic Behavior fashion, the stream didn't come without 10 steps back to counteract the 1 step forward that they had. I already said that they covered the anti-tunnel and slug changes, but once we get into the meat and potatoes of what those changes are going to look like, you can clearly tell that Behavior still does not get killer. I'm Tree Lambo, folks. I like video games, and today I wanted to talk about this recent drama and give you my very quick and haphazard thoughts on it. If you enjoy, please make sure to subscribe. All the cool kids do it, so clearly you should too. And let's get into it. There are a lot of people saying that Behavior is intentionally trying to destroy Killer, but thinking critically about that for like 5 seconds will tell you that they gain nothing from that at all. I think we should really use Hanlon's razor in this situation, meaning that we can't assume malice where we can easily assume incompetence. Behavior, no matter which side of the game they're affecting in the process, is incompetent. And they've shown it with these changes once again. If you're wondering why there's such an uproar, let's take a look at the changes survivors receive to combat tunneling, and then look at the compensation buffs that killers receive. In this new live stream, the devs decided to show off the changes that both sides are going to be getting, and survivors, to combat tunneling, survivors receive the ability to see the anti-camp bar on their teammates. They get 30 seconds of haste, endurance, and elusive, which means no scratch marks or pools of blood. And they see the killer's aura when unhooked through undetectable. And killers, in order to level the playing field, killers receive blood points and tier 1 bloodlust for unique hooks. Now you may say, oh, well, getting bloodlust after a hook isn't so bad. And that's what I thought for like 5 minutes, until you realize that bloodlust ends whenever you use your power or break a pallet. This means that any killer that could potentially benefit from this won't, because they aren't allowed to do anything after a hook. Ghosty cannot use stealth, Trapper cannot place traps, Myers cannot stalk, Sadako, Springtrap, and Xeno can't teleport, Merchant can't place drones, and absolutely none of the killers can break a pallet, or they will lose their bloodlust and essentially get no reward for being a quote-unquote good boy. But what about the old rewards killers used to receive for unique hooks, you might ask? Oh, well, Behavior heard that killer players said the anti-tunnel held survivor hands too much, and for some ungodly reason assumed the killers thought that they were being handheld. So they removed all the previous rewards. No more haste, no more barbecue, no more pop goes, nothing. So if we back up a little bit and recap here, survivors get several base kit perks, abusable mechanics like 30 seconds of endurance, and killers receive a ham sandwich and a pat on the rear for a job well done. Great job, Behavior. The developer's misunderstanding of the killer role actually needs to be studied. I understand that loads of new survivors likely quit the game because of tunneling and aggressive slugging, But for once in their lives, I'm begging behavior to take 5 seconds to think about why people slug and tunnel in the first place. People tunnel survivors out. Instead of looking into why people don't go for unique hooks, let's just make absent-minded blanket changes that punish half the killer roster, but leave S-tier killers unpunished and thus cause more people to play the S-tier killers. I don't understand how that makes sense to anybody in the dev team. People slug a lot. Oh, well, let's ignore all the people in our chat actively telling us that they slug because of pallets, and let's just make slugging an offense punishable by death, making Swifts even harder to play against. Game Development 101 tells you the easiest way to convince a player to do something is to reward them for doing that thing. That's such a simple concept in game development. I haven't even started the game dev course I'm gonna take, and I understand that. So the fact that behavior doesn't is baffling to me. All that being said though, I want to take a moment to admit that behavior is still making a step in the right direction, sorta kinda. The new anti-tunnel, while still really one-sided, is significantly less oppressive than the original one was. At least it seems that way. If maps had less pallets, the anti-slug features would also not be too bad. I think the recent pallet changes need to be reverted if we're gonna seriously go through with this version of the anti-slug. I'd be willing to give it a chance, at least, in that state. However, in their current face value states, the current systems for anti-slug and tunnel are just deaths by 1,000 cuts. The system has a bunch of small, tiny flaws that all add up to make the killer player base run dry. But even despite that, I do appreciate the attempt by behavior. Tunneling does need to be addressed, and my friends deal with it a lot in Publix all the time. But this system isn't quite there yet. Behavior is so close to getting it right, I honestly think with a few changes they might. But as it stands, what we need is a mixture of both the old anti-tunnel and the new anti-tunnel. Keep the current survivor benefits, but give killers the unique hook rewards back. You can't nerf killers for tunneling, because the killers who don't tunnel will just become tempted to tunnel because they're getting punished for not tunneling because you nerfed all the killers for tunneling. It's just such a conundrum that they just keep creating themselves, and I don't understand it at all. I wanted to make a quick video talking about that because it's the hottest topic within the community right now, and I wanted to throw my hat in the ring and let you all know what I think. I actually think the game has an incredible chance to drift in the right direction if behavior gets this right, but as it stands, behavior still does not get killer. If you enjoyed, leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on the changes. Hit the subscribe button to help me reach 200 subs before the end of the year. We're really close, thanks for 165, and I'll see you all later. Have a good night.